All right, sorry everybody. I was waiting for my wow, how did my stream get likes already and I haven't even started yet. But sorry, I have some chocolate chip mini muffins here. I was waiting for them to get warmed up into the oven. So that's why I'm like a tad bit late right now. So, yeah. All right, peoples, let's go and get started. You guys know, so you already know what it is. So, yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, bringing you a reflection of all the One Piece chapters we got in the month of July. We got 3 chapters, which I'm noticing a pattern here. At the most, we tend to get 3 to 4 chapters a month. I know if you... I got snacks? Okay, yeah. It's these little chocolate muffins. One of our deli, not our deli lady, but our bakery lady at my current job, she just gave them to me, saying like, oh, hey, do you want some of these? Like, because it's from our store. But she gave them to me so I could have some, so I can have something to snack on. I can have something for breakfast. Ain't nothing wrong with some chocolate chip mini muffins for breakfast. So, back to the matter at hand here. We have 3 chapters of One Piece that got released in the month of July. Namely, let's go ahead and just go through all of them. And we only got 3, so I'm really anxious to see what type of chapters we're going to get for August. And overall, I have to say the Wano arc as a whole, it's really appealing to me. I normally don't say too much about just like how I think the whole arc is going. But the Wano arc really appeals to me. It's really good, not to say the least. The anime as well, like the whole art style. Part of me thinks that part of me is hoping that the animation style they have for the anime going into the Wano arc right now, I hope that it's the style that they keep for the rest of the series, like high quality anime quality, and it's not just the quality of this specific arc itself. Like, it looks, the animation itself for the anime. You all right? You sure? Okay. Just making sure. All right. But the animation style for the anime, it's like, it has like a hint of brush stroke type, like a hand-drawn brush strokes type outlining for characters, so it makes it really, really pop out. But we got 3 chapters for this month. Chapters 9, 48, 49, and 50. Now, one thing I brought up when I did my reaction to the 950th chapter of One Piece is I was saying how we could have, if Oda decides, we could have 50 more chapters of One Piece, and that will put us at 1,000 full chapters of nothing but One Piece. Now, some people have said that it may not last that long, but given just how much backstory there are for characters that we know nothing about, information that we don't know nothing about, there's still a whole bunch of loose ends in One Piece that I feel like One Piece could go 50 more chapters, because there's chapters that could be dedicated to all of Vegapunk and how, and all the things that just to Vegapunk alone, and how, and information on the Void Century, and information on how Devil Fruits came to be and how they operate and how Vegapunk knows so much about them. Where the like the whole world government, how that came to be, and like how the Yonko came to be, and how the 7 warlords came to be. There's just so much for One Piece that could be left unanswered if it happens to end sooner than 50 chapters. Now, knowing Oda, he's very good at storytelling, so he's able to, put a lot of information into one singular chapter and, kind of space it out between chapters later on. So that's just my thing. Like, we're at 950 chapters of One Piece, and I feel like we could go 50 more or longer than that. There's no way of knowing. But to get back to the task at hand here, we have chapter 948, Kawamatsu the Kappa takes the stage. Now, this is the chapter right after Queen takes Big Mom and takes her to Onigashima, where Kaido resides. And the last panel we have of the previous chapter, 947, is Luffy's collar's gone, and he's completely free of his sea stone handcuffs. And he's preparing to fight all of the guards that are inside of the prison right now. Hold on, let me get this off to the side. So let me just minimize this real quick. So as this chapter starts, Luffy's pretty much preparing to fight all the guards there. And the last time we left Luffy in 947, he used haki in a way that was similar to Rayleigh and Sabo's, and he was able to use it for the first time, but he was only able to use it because he was back into a corner, and it was like a fight or flight situation. So Grandpa Hugh tells him that this is a perfect time for you to learn, and Luffy is steadily trying to learn the exact same way he used his haki before, and so in order to train himself. And of course, he's beaten up on all of these prison guards, but it's still not happening the same way. Old Maid is still there because Queen left him in charge. So Luffy's beating up on all these guys, and Old Maid says, "Listen up, prisoners. Your fellow prisoner, Luffy Taro, has put us in a bit of a pinch here. Subdue him with your combined power." And they all just gang up on him, and Luffy's all like, "What are you doing? I'm helping you here. Don't you guys want to escape?" And they're all dogpiling on Luffy. It felt good seeing you take down so many of Kaido's subordinates, but what do you think will happen to us once we escape from here? Kaido and Orochi control the entire country. So the thing is that even though Luffy pretty much stood up to a lot of the guards in the prison so far, the prisoners have been there for so long that they really don't see a good way out for them. Like, even if they were to escape, Orochi and Kaido still control everything outside, not just inside of the prison walls. So they don't see much of a reason for them to try and escape or try and help Luffy if they're just going to run into more trouble once they break out. So 20 years ago, we all banded together to avenge Kuri's daimyo Lord Kozuki Oden, but Kaido foiled our rebellion. We lost our friends and our families. They were all annihilated. I hate to admit it, but after we saw Lord Yasuie's execution, the fear and despair we felt long ago came right back to us. So as you know, the whole execution, is there any Straw Hat that hasn't had their identity revealed to the enemy yet? No. Jinbei. They don't know about Jinbei, but Jinbei's somewhere else right now. They know that the Straw Hats are there on Wano, and they know all of them are there. They know who Brook is, even though he's cosplaying as a ghost. They know who Robin is. They know who Nami is. They know who everyone is except for Jinbei, because the only people who know that Jinbei is a part of the Straw Hat crew are the Straw Hats and Jinbei's former crewmates. So the only person they don't know about is Jinbei, but Jinbei is not a key player yet. I say yet because I don't know when Jinbei will come back into the story, whether he'll come back in Wano or whether he'll come back afterwards. No way of knowing. Hopefully the next chapters we get in the month of August, maybe it'll shed some light. Maybe that, or maybe the cover story that has Chiffon and Capone going out to find her sister Lola, maybe that will shed some light on where Jinbei has been all this time. But the prisoners are feeling nothing but despair and sadness after they saw Yasuie executed. And they, at this point in this chapter, they pretty much just given up hope. Even if we do manage to escape, we do not have a home to return to, nor any food for ourselves. No matter how far we search, there is no freedom to be found in this country. So Kaido and Orochi have literally left all those who oppose them in their minds in the pit of despair, where they see nothing but failure and sadness and hopelessness in anything that they do that could possibly bring hope to their country. So you are an outsider, right? You are free to run around and cause as much trouble as you want. But we do not want to be dragged into this mess. And this is where Daifugo, the scorpion gifter user, he starts shooting different inmates, different prisoners. And first he says, tread carefully. We've given him a contagious disease that spreads on skin contact. With one touch, you'll get it too. And he just starts shooting prisoners with what he calls excitement bullets. Double meaning here, kanji reads plague bullets. And with these bullets, it spreads like a virus through the body. It's not, I was incorrect in thinking that it worked the same way as Magellan's poison, because Magellan's poison is only just poison. But what Queen has created is essentially bullets that spreads a virus through the entire body. A very painful virus that has enough power to cause people to bleed from the face. And it's also super contagious because it can spread through skin contact instantly, and it can spread to other people. That'll teach you fools. If anybody tries anything funny, they'll be shot. So, and he explains what it is. You see, Master Queen is a skilled craftsman. He loves creating mechanical weapons and infectious diseases. So here's one thing. We know that Queen is a tinkerer. When we first saw Queen, he and King were both talking to each other, and they were both talking down to Jack when Jack first arrived in Onigashima after all that has transpired with Jack. Like, he's returned back to Wano, and he gets ridiculed by both Queen and King. And we see that Queen is like either working on his arm and everything. So we get the idea that he's like a tinkerer. He likes to fiddle with things. But what we don't know is that he likes to create infectious diseases. How smart do you have to be to create an entirely new disease that can infect not only a single person, but cause it to spread to other people just by skin contact alone? Which lets you know that Queen is possibly a medical genius if he's able to create a complete disease that can, do that to people. That's right, hold Straw Hat down. Did you really think the prisoners would fight alongside you? These prisoners have had their spirits completely broken. Back to what I said, their time there in Wano, under the rule of Orochi and Kaido, has led them in the pit of despair. And I don't need to hit you. Anyone will do, then it'll just spread right to you. So it doesn't matter. You don't even have to shoot the person. You can just shoot someone next to them, and then that person can touch you, and then you'll get it. So it's highly contagious, highly infectious, and highly dangerous. But this is also where we first meet Kawamatsu, because in the previous chapter, Big Mom threw Queen into the wall that was just right. That was pretty much right where Kawamatsu was being held. And now that place is bust open. Hold on. Let me get this page up. Yeah, there we go. And then Kawamatsu's left and ba. And we have Kiku looking on. We have Old Maid looking on. And everyone is wondering everyone's wondering where that laughing has come from, because as far as we know, the guards for Udon, they never really seen Kawamatsu before. They just knew that somebody was in there, but they didn't know if it was a someone or something. So this is the first time we'll get to see this person. And everyone's wondering, I figured there was some kind of wild beast in there or something. Who could it be? They've been locked in there for such a long time. We were forced to feed him only poisonous fish from the factory wastewaters to ensure that he would die a slow, painful death. Lord Orochi ordered that execution method 13 years ago. So it just tells you that Kawamatsu has either an iron stomach or he's very difficult to kill, because there's only so much poisonous things a person can eat, normal person, not Magellan, or Kawamatsu for that matter. There's only so much poisonous things a person can eat before it eventually kills them. Kawamatsu's been eating poisonous things for 13 years straight, and he's still alive. If he tries to kill us, I'll make sure he dies accidentally, of course. That person is one of the 9 red scabbards. Gapapa, remove these cuffs already. What? They didn't die? And then Kiku's all like, as I thought, Sir Kawamatsu is here. And then we got all the Smilers preparing to cut down Kawamatsu. But of course, at the last possible second, Raizo comes out of nowhere and throws Kawamatsu his sword right after, Kawamatsu spits some fish bones into the necks of the Smilers who were try to cut him down. He gets his sword and he cuts through all of the guys who attempt to kill him. Looks like you made it in time, Raizo. This brings back memories. My beloved blade, the Soto Muso. And with that sword, he cuts down all of the dudes that are trying to essentially cut him down with Yagura Ryu. And Tien Yagura is a type of Japanese or school. And they all get blown away by Kawamatsu. And everyone else is just looking on. Kiku's looking on. Raizo's looking on. Old Maid's looking like, what? How'd he do that? Then Kawamatsu says, it feels as if you are swimming against a raging current. It is known as the Kappa sword style. And with one final motion, we see Kawamatsu just body all those who are around him and come popping out. Menamugawa. And TN roughly translates to destroy Nano River. Nano is from the Buddhist chant Nano Ataba. I can't make out some of these words here. Hold on. Page is small. Nano Amitba may also double as a reference to the Mae Chao Phraya River in Thailand. All right, there we go. And then we see Kawamatsu for the first time, who turns out to be a fishman, no less. What type of fishman? I didn't look that up. My apologies. But he says, you asked me whether I enjoyed those poisonous fish. I will tell you now, they were so disgusting my insides turned over and over every day. But after all that, I am still alive after 13 years. No matter the trials I faced, everything felt like a breeze when compared to the unfulfilled regrets of my lord. I have been waiting for this day. Kawamatsu the Kappa at your service. Kozuki family retainer, Kawamatsu the Yokozuna. So we've seen Yokozunas before. Yokozunas are pretty much well-known wrestlers in the world of Wano. So, this is bad. One of the Red Scabbards has joined them. Then Kawamatsu meets up with Kiku, Raizo, and Chopper. After that, Kawamatsu pretty much just throws up everything he's eaten for 13 years. First of all, how do you hold something in your stomach for 13 years and don't digest it? It must be a fishman thing, because I honestly can't see him being able to eat. Because here's the thing. I could eat a big old Big Mac or like a double Baconator. And that thing can just like disappear within like a good hour. This dude held in eating poisonous fish, mind you, for 13 years straight, and is just now throwing it all up. My thing is double cheeseburger. Ooh, I might have to get that for lunch today. Thanks, Grant. Thank you. Thank you for the snack idea. Lunch idea. I'll probably grab that when I go out to get Avengers Endgame, because that came out on Blu-ray and I need to go get it. Couldn't get it yesterday because there were other things happening with my family, so I couldn't really go out to get that at that time. But thank you for the lunch idea. I'm definitely going to get that today. But yeah, my thing is he held all that in for 13 years straight. I can't even hold toothpaste in my mouth for about 30 seconds because, well, some of the kind that I use is like real stingy. And this dude held poisonous fish in his body for 13 years. You know how long 13 years? Our lightsaber duel shall be epic, one for the ages. Koromaru Karamata. I'm embracing my inner nerd. Karatama. How loud is that thing? It's pretty loud. You can hear it. I mean, if it sounds loud, it's because it's closer to the mic, but it's got a lot of good motion controls on it and everything. And it has like hit detection as well, so you can tell when you hit something. But it's really nice. Really nice. I don't regret getting it. And it's Mace Windu's, no less. All right. Back to the One Piece stuff. So, Kawamatsu throws up all the things that he's eaten for 13 years. Just a little diversion there. Just a little. And then Old Mate says, ready the excitement bullets. Get in a battle formation, everyone. What's going on? Who are these intruders? How did we let this many of them through? Well, they keep forgetting that Big Mom, on her way into the prison, pretty much demolished every single gate into the prison. So people being able to get in there now should not be a bit of a surprise. And then Luffy's all like, a Kappa, get away from Sir Luffy Taro, says Kiku. We find out more about Kiku here in a little bit. Who is that huge woman? Kiku, Raizo. No way, are you boss Hyogoro? Gramps! Huh? Show them who you really are. For these people who are beaten down and broken, if you wish for them to rise once more, you cannot remain concealed with a handkerchief. You're right. You must make them realize. Then Raizo takes off his scarf and Kiku puts on their mask. First, we must gather their trust. He's a Kappa. Like, Luffy's still stuck on the fact that Kawamatsu is a Kappa. That is true. To them, we are nothing more than ghosts. That mask, but he died inside Odin Castle, right? Is that the mask that was worn by the most beautiful swordsman in the Wano country, Kiku Nojo, the lingering snow? Huh? You're a man? I am a woman at heart. So it turns out that Kiku is not a woman, but a dude. He just has really effeminate features. One thing that really caught my attention about that is it took me a moment to realize, like, this isn't the first time we've seen this. And someone tried to say that he was he was transgender, but no, that's not the vibe I'm getting. The vibe I'm getting is the same thing with Haku in Naruto. He was a dude, but he had really, really feminine features that fooled all of us at first until he actually said something. So that's what I feel like that's what I feel the whole thing is with Kiku, is that he feels like he's a woman at heart, but he's got real effeminate features, but he's a dude. Yo, EGK, what's going on? We're doing some reflections on One Piece. We only got 2 more chapters to go, and then we'll discuss a little bit more about it in a little bit. Hope you enjoy yourself while you're here. You know, just enjoy yourself. Almost at 900, you guys. This is amazing. 900, 895. Like, you guys have been showing me some love for this channel as I get closer and closer to 1,000. From the bottom of my heart, you guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for, just showing up whenever I do live streams. It really means the world to me as we make this channel even bigger than it was before. So all of the 9 scabbards, Raizo, Kiku, and Kawamatsu all gather together as they prepare to fight everyone. Over there is Kawamatsu the Yokozuna, who is not only a samurai, but also the strongest wrestler in the country. So since he's a fishmen have innate superhuman strength. And since Kawamatsu is a wrestler, he's essentially the strongest wrestler in all of Wano. And it just reminds me that big fat wrestler that we encountered earlier in the Wano arc. I guess he took up the role. He took up the title as the Wano's strongest wrestler after Kawamatsu was imprisoned in Udon. So since Kawamatsu's back, I guess that title goes back to him now. As I thought, that old man standing alongside them. He really is Hyogoro the Flower. Who is this Luffy Taro person then? And then Chopper doesn't get any sort of introduction whatsoever. This is playing out exactly like one of Lord Orochi's nonsensical rants. Hey, what about me? Like, seriously, Chopper doesn't get any mention at all. Everyone gets introduced. Raizo, Kiku, Kawamatsu, and Grandpa Hiyu. And Luffy, but Chopper gets nothing. I must report this to Lord Kaido at once. And we cannot Kiku's all like, we cannot let that happen. Now that you have seen us, we will have to silence you. And that's pretty much the end of chapter 948. So going into 949, let's just go ahead and get into it. Wano Country Udon, eliminate those 6 pests. The excitement bullets are not hitting him at all. Like, even as they're trying to shoot Luffy, he's still dodging it because he still has his blossoming future sight with his observation haki. So it's making it easier for him to dodge things like bullets and attacks, pretty much. He's using haki, but he's still not being able to use it in the same way that Rayleigh was able to use it quite yet. I told you it doesn't matter who I shoot. And Daifugo is just basically shooting at random now, much to Luffy's protests. He's shooting everyone around him except for Luffy. Those prisoners are already weak from not having enough to eat. I won't forgive you for using viruses as a weapon. So both Luffy and Chopper both attack all the guards around them. Like, it's good to see Chopper fighting again. Like, I know Chopper, since the time skip, since Whole Cake Island, the last time we saw him fully fledged out fight was against Big Mom, and that was with his monster point, wasn't it? Like, he was resolving himself to take both him and Big Mom into the water with him, but it's also good to see Chopper fighting with another one of the Straw Hats. Do not lay a hand on our comrades, and Grandpa Hugh's just cutting up people, Kiku's just cutting up people, Kawamatsu's cutting up people, the 9 Scabbards is just cutting up people, and Raizo's just throwing ninja stars everywhere. I really want a Naruto game that's like a Dynasty Warriors game. I don't know what to do. I'm really looking forward to One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, though. Oh, I hope the little game that they have at, what is it, Gamescom for Japan? I forget the exact name. But in August, they're going to be having One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 on display. So hopefully we get to see some gameplay. Hopefully we get to see some new mechanics. Hopefully we get to see just what we're in for when One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 drops next year. So, use these, friends of Luffy Dono. I'm sure that one of them will free your cuffs. Raizo throws the keys to Kid and Killer to untie themselves, but Kid is not saying anything. This is another time where this, and then Killer's just laughing to himself because of the whole smile thing. But Kid is just looking on with just complete rage in his eyes. And he's not saying a word. He doesn't say anything during this entire chapter. It's in the next chapter where he actually does something. Fire the excitement bullets. And then Luffy just notices that all the prisoners around him, except for him, are getting shot. That Kid face has been my favorite panel in Wano. The one where he's looking on in either complete disgust or complete rage that he's being saved by a person who once laughed at the thought of Kid wanting to become king of the pirates. Because remembering back to the Sabaody archipelago or archipelago, I can't tell which saying to say, archipelago or archipelago. I'm hearing two different interpretations of how to pronounce that. But Luffy laughed when Kid said he's going to become king of the pirates, and then Luffy says, "Oh, that's funny. I'm going to become king of the pirates." So the fact that Kid is a very prideful supernova. He's a very prideful pirate. And anyone who stands in his way, he just straight up kills. He is one of the few supernovas that has absolutely no qualms about killing people. Like when Luffy first arrived at the Sabaody, the only reason why Kid's bounty was higher than Luffy's was because he had no problem taking the lives of innocents as well. So for a person like Kid to be saved by someone like Luffy, it can be seen as a bit of a hit to his ego a little bit. And the fact that other people are just all like, friends of Luffy. What you call me? Friends of Luffy. Like, you can see. Oh, snap, it's Jinbei. Gyujin Karate Ogi. Braikan. Sorry, I just had to do that. I love hearing Jinbei say his attack moves. It's Japanese name fight moves are cool to say. Okay, this is just cool to say. But it can be seen as a hit to the pride of Kid because he's so used to doing everything himself, and then I guess him being saved is like embarrassing for him. So I guess he can't really say anything. But the prisoners are being shot all around Luffy with the excitement bullets. And it's actually explained more and more about what the excitement bullets do. Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you the name of that infectious disease. It causes a high fever that sprouts from the area of infection and an unbearable pain as if your body is on fire. Blood comes spurting out of the body. No matter how much they thrash around, they will continue to suffer. Anyone that touches them will be forced to suffer as well. Look, that is what happens to those who are infected. They are all dried up now like withered plants. So, sorry, it feels like I'm about to burp, but it's just like slowly building. There it is. So these excitement bullets, they essentially poison the body and infect it. Then they start to, I guess, eat away at the body because that's the only explanation of why the body looks so withered away. I guess it literally slowly burns them from the inside and it starts to wither them away from the inside out. Don't you think the virus should have been called zombie virus? Feels much more like a zombie than a mummy. That's exactly what I said in my reaction. It's more like a zombie virus than a mummy virus. Because with the mummy, because when you think about people getting infected with something, then they fall unconscious, then they get back up and they start to make their way to people who are not infected, then that's essentially the symptoms of a zombie, not a mummy. You don't really associate mummy with dying, getting back up, and going after people who are alive because you're now undead now. You don't really associate that with mummy. You associate that with zombie. And that's exactly what I said in my reaction that I did on this chapter. So if anything, this should be called zombie, not mummy. But it's one of Master Queen's greatest creations, the mysterious disease, the mummy virus. We're just going to call it the zombie virus because that's essentially what it is. Charge! You're all now walking human weapons that can defeat enemies with a mere touch, which is essentially what zombies can do. You get scratched by a zombie. And sooner or later, that virus will eat through your entire body unless you cut off the infected area, and it will turn you into a zombie as well. The same way with this mummy virus. If you get touched by a person who's infected, you will become infected too, and then you will be in the same state. Zombie. The rest of you, charge at them as well. Do you want to be branded as a rebel? After all that's happened, the prisoners of Udon are still our enemies. So there's like dozens upon dozens of prisoners who have been shot with excitement bullets who are now bearing down on Luffy and the others with this zombie virus. And they still, the difference between them, zombie virus, and the zombie excitement bullets, we're just going to call it that now, is that the people still have their brain functions. They can still say words. They can still say things. Even though they're in unbearable fire-induced pain, they can still think, and they still have their consciousness. They still have cognitive thinking. So they can still speak. They still have speech. They can reason, but they're just in unbearable pain, and they're driven by a desire to go after people who are not infected. Please leave this place. If you guys had not come here, none of this would have happened. Even if a lot of you are truly samurai of the red scabbards, and I need to be eating these muffins before they get way too cold. Even if a lot of you are truly samurai of the red scabbards that were supposed to have died 20 years ago, you still will not be able to win. Kaido, that gigantic flying Shenron, with him around, no one will be able to defeat the Beast Pirates. The excitement bullet pun doesn't work so well in English. Yeah, I don't. Excitement bullets don't really roll off the tongue. Do like the official translation playground bullets. The plague bullets work because there's actually a tidbit in the last chapter that calls it can also be translated as plague bullets. So plague bullets fit more than excitement bullets. Plus, it rolls off the tongue easier. With him around, no one will be able to defeat the beast pirates. Look around you. With just a single weapon created by just one of his subordinates, this is the devastation that has been brought upon us. Look at this overwhelming power. Precisely. If you outsiders never came here, we would have continued to live our normal daily lives. We would have never been subjected to this. And then Luffy grabs the face of one of the infected people, completely ignoring the fact that he's going to get infected as well. No, you must not touch them, Luffy Taro, says Kiku. And he starts to get infected as well. And then he goes overboard, stretches out his arms, and just grabs hold of everyone in front of him, you know, inducing more of the infectious disease into his body. Sorry. Muffin. He touched us all on his own. Dafu is all like, fool. What are you doing, Sir Luffy Taro? What devastation. What overwhelming power. Something like this has no effect at all, even though you start to see the virus itself start to take hold in Luffy's face. Like his face is starting to get infected. He's starting to bleed out of his mouth and his nose. So it really does work on Luffy. So even though he has an immunity to poison, viruses are something completely different. Don't lie. Get away from them right now, Luffy. All the samurai that I've met are incredibly strong, but you guys have been completely broken. This is what you call a normal daily life? Is doing every little thing they say and receiving dango as a reward what you would call normal? Wake up already! You're all just slaves! It's funny how whenever Luffy says something to people that makes sense, they start to really rethink what they said to him earlier. The few times that Luffy decides not to be like a complete airhead sometimes, he does make a lot of sense. And it's funny how people don't realize this until after the fact. And this happens to people who happen to be smarter than him. And they have the capacity to realize this. There are a lot of smart people out there in the world. And compared to Luffy, Luffy's is basically like a kindergartner in terms of some things. But when Luffy takes that moment when he doesn't behave like a complete idiot and he actually says something meaningful, it's enough to turn like the smartest person in the world into like the most oblivious person. Like it kind of makes me think like it takes, I'm trying to find a good comparison here. It takes a person like you see movies, sci-fi movies where the scientists think that they know everything versus a person who knows nothing, but they got street smarts. And then the scientists are like, no, this will work. And the person with common sense is all like, no, this isn't going to work. You don't want to do this. And then after the mission, whatever happens, and everyone is blaming the scientists, and the scientists are like, what have I done? And then the person are like, told you so. And then they start to realize their actions is like something sort of like that. I probably could have used a better example, but that's something that's been on my mind lately, like how scientists in movies think they know more than anyone because they're not a scientist, because they're a scientist and other people aren't scientists. So don't tell me how to do my job. I'm a scientist. I know exactly what I'm talking about. That same scientist gets eaten by whatever they've been working on. So Luffy has his moments where he's able to make people really reevaluate their current situation, even if they've been in that situation for years. And Tama and Momonosuke show up. Looks like Big Bro and the others are safe. Is he? He looks kind of sick. Does that guy have a screw loose or something? Who cares if I'm an outsider? Are all outsiders not allowed to protect this country? I made a promise to my friend Tama and Curry, who gave me food. I told her I'd make sure no one would have to worry about food in this country ever again. And the thing about Luffy is he keeps his promises. So you're going to have a hard time keeping Luffy from doing what he wants to do. because he's going to do it anyway. Whether it's breaking into Marineford to pay his respects at the after the Marineford War, or breaking into the world's most secure prison, all the way to, infiltrating an entire country in order to steal back his brother's lost devil fruit before he gave it to Sabo. It's just, if I fail to do that, this place will continue to be a living nightmare. I've heard all about Odin. He sounds like he was an amazing guy. But when he was killed by Kaido 20 years ago, this country stopped moving, right? We're here to defeat Kaido. It makes no sense for possible allies to stand in the way of that. So make up your minds right now. Will you follow us or Kaido? Like, Luffy's giving them an ultimatum. You either with us or against us. And you don't want to be against us because we're stronger than you. So it's best that you join up with us. Are you being serious? Will you still give us another chance? Yes, grip their wavering hearts. What amazing leadership. This is bad. He's pulling on their heartstrings, but he's wide open right now. If I shoot this into that crowd, it'll cause a giant uproar and the tides will swing back in our favor. With 200 times the viruses within the plague bullets. Almost got me to say excitement bullets, but plague is better. This is the plague shell. And he loads up a small cannonball with 200 times the viruses of a plague bullet inside of his elephant face chest. Elephant face chest? Chest nose? Chest face? Elephant chest? I don't know. And he prepares to shoot it at Luffy. And everyone's saying, like, hey, if we don't get away, this is going to be real bad. And the elephant, do you think Old Maid is dead? Well, let me get to that real quick. Old Maid says it's too late, and he prepares to shoot the grenade. The torso of a human is called the trunk. So, trunk? Double trunk. I mean, highly likely, but is he, though? Luffy just comes out of nowhere, ties the nose of the elephant into a knot completely, while the shell is still in there. And Old Maid is all like, trunk squared. Trunk square. I don't know. I don't know a good name to call it. Trunk squared, trunk body, trunk chest. Inside of his trunk chest. And Luffy says, I saw a slightly dangerous future, so he tied up the nose of the elephant, and that causes the shell to explode. Now, here's the thing, though. If the shell exploded in the nose of the elephant, I don't think it would have blown up the entire body of Old Maid. I just figured it would have blown up the nose. But the nose is still intact, and the explosion completely backfires into the entire body of Old Maid. Like, from this panel, the nose looks intact, but everything behind it is completely blown up with a massive explosion, and Luffy looking at his darkest. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Luffy shaded this way. Like, the explosion must have been so bright that it literally cast a deep shadow on Luffy. But I wonder if Old Maid is actually dead. Because has Luffy ever really killed someone? I mean, if he doesn't die from the explosion, wouldn't he die from the amount of viruses in that shell? That's a good point. So whether or not Old Maid is alive, he's still dead anyway. If he survived the explosion, there's no way he's going to survive the viruses. Because even if he does have a large body, there's still 200 times the viruses in that shell alone than a normal bullet. So either way, Old Maid is dead unless someone gets him an antidote, which I don't know. If we never see Old Maid again, then we just might as well count him as presumed dead because of what the viruses do. I'm leaving the rest to you guys. And they all look in Daifugo's direction. Hey, wait a second. Don't you guys remember what'll happen to you if you go against the warden? Of course we do. We've decided to rebel. And 8 days before the final battle, without the enemy's knowledge, Udon has been captured. Wonderfully done, Straw Hat Man. You have brought us a very powerful ally, Kinemon. A man among men. What a dependable man. And everyone was still looking on as Old Maid pretty much just, I guess, died. Everyone's all like, Master Old Maid, Warden! And the only person that's left that actually poses a little bit of a threat to some of the guards, but I don't know how long he's going to last, is Daifugo, the Scorpion Gifter. But given the amount of people that are left, compared to just him being by himself and a few other prisoner guards that are there with him, I really don't think that they're going to last very long. We don't see what happens to them in the next chapter, though, because we cut to Kid. His allies' whereabouts. Are you going to fight Kaido again? And we see both Kid and we see both Killer walking out of the prison, walking towards the prison. And we see a lot of magnetic objects and metal objects being attracted to Kid, letting you know that he's free of his cuffs and he's able to use his Devil Fruit abilities again. I was kind of disappointed that we never got a name of his Devil Fruit in this chapter due to us actually seeing him use it again, but it's still good. Want to team up? Absolutely not, you idiot. You saw what happened to my partner. And he causes a giant metal hand to, he makes a big giant metal hand out of metal. And he bursts open a gate that was in the prison, and both him and Killer win. And he's thinking, all the while he's thinking to himself, I'm done making alliances. I'll never trust anyone else again. The fact that I didn't kill you today, think of it as me being generous. When deep down, if it wasn't for Luffy, Kid might still be down there. Now, I'm not trying to downplay the abilities of Kid, because Kid is a strong individual in his own right. Being able to keep up with Luffy when they were both forced to work in the mines, even when he only had one arm, because as we know, he lost his other arm to Shanks. And he's strong enough to keep up with Luffy one-handed, where Luffy's strength is, as strong as he is. So my thing is that he's done making alliances. We see flashbacks of when he was trying to make an alliance with Basil Hawkins, with Scratchman Apu, who we only see in flashback panel only. Like, we don't see him at all during this entire chapter. And by the way, this is the last chapter that we get this month as well. Both him and Killer leave. And one thing I didn't notice is that he stood over Luffy while Luffy was unconscious, while Chopper was treating him, but he didn't do anything to Luffy. So that was his one act of mercy, I guess. And think of it as me being generous, and he drops off the metal off of his arm so he can have his original metal arm back. Let's go, Killer. We will walk our own path. We're going to go get our comrades back. And we see Killer walking behind him. Now, will Killer don all of his gear again, or will he just stick to what he's wearing now? And the thing is, he started wearing that mask because he hated his laugh so much. Now he can't stop laughing because of the side effects of the smile. So will he put that mask back on, but will always eternally hear him laughing underneath? Is there a cure for those affected by smiles? Hopefully Vegapunk plays into this, or hopefully Chopper or some doctor plays into it. Either Marco or Chopper or Vegapunk figures out a way to, get rid of the side effects of smiles so that Killer can go back to being who he was. Because there's no telling if Killer can go back to being the person that he was before. With his current state, because he's laughing now. He can't do anything without laughing now, which is actually kind of sad. Will this be the last time we see Killer don his mask anymore? Or will he always be stuck as Kamazo? I don't know. Which sweet commander do you think Kid fought, as he stated to Caribou earlier? Well, we know Magma Urouge fought Snack. Luffy fought Cracker and Katakuri. Um, hmm. Maybe Kid fought Cracker as well. I don't. It's hard. It's hard to say. Maybe either, because I know for a fact that if he fought Katakuri, he might be dead. Because Katakuri, the only person who was able to take on Katakuri was Luffy, and that's because Luffy is the only one with the potential to take down people stronger than him every single time. I can't say too much about Kid because we really don't see him fight all that often. Like, we see him use his Devil Fruit ability to repel objects at people and kill them that way, but we don't really see him fight for me to give a consensus on who he could pair up against. But either Smoothie or Cracker, either one of those two. It's kind of hard for me to narrow down. But Katakuri, no, he would not have lasted against Katakuri. Katakuri is on a whole different level. Inside the prisoner mine's a pirate. The Straw Hat Man is a pirate just like Kaido, yes, but also no. We cannot trust a pirate. He will. There is no telling when he will decide to betray us. So here, even though Luffy has helped them pretty much take over the entire mine, they're still apprehensive about Luffy because he's a pirate. Out of all the possible allies, why did you have to bring someone like him here? There are many pirates in this world. They are all different. You will understand once you get to know him. He is no liar. This man is the key to defeating Kaido. How troubling. They have gotten their spirits back, but it's still not enough. In any case, are you really claiming that you came from 20 years in the past? You have always looked like an old man, Raizo. Maybe this is just natural aging for you. Huh? Is that an indirect insult? Where did Straw Hat Man go? Tama, it's too dangerous for you to be here. I apologize, big bro. I'm reading through all this quickly. But I am so glad that you are okay. What do you mean? He looks like he's dying. And Luffy's starting to suffer from the effects of the plague bullets as well. Like, his body's starting to wither away, and Chopper's really looking like he's really working hard to come up with an antidote in order to cure Luffy. Don't touch him. I'll definitely find an antibody for him. I can't believe you acted all tough and pretended that the virus didn't work. You're in pain, aren't you? Why don't you ever think about the consequences? Say you're sorry. I'm sorry, it hurt. Save me, please. Luffy may be an idiot, but he's also quite amazing. I would have never been able to do all of this. Man, you really are a coward. You really are an idiot, a coward, a weakling, and a scaredy cat. You're totally useless. Silence, you insolent barbarian! You do not have to say such words! You will get infected if you touch him, Momozo. Momo needs to be careful because I don't know how viruses work on younger bodies. I feel like viruses work faster on younger bodies because immune systems aren't as prevalent then. Get out of there already. Get out of there already, Momo. The one they're waiting for is you. And Tama shoves him right out in the face of all the prisoners. And they all look at him in surprise, and they all immediately get teary-eyed and kneel before him. Lord Momonosuke, I see what we were missing. I see what we were missing was a dream. They needed a goal to aim for in order to fight. And all the prisoners bow before before Momonosuke. Thank goodness you are safe. The one they are seeing is not me. The one they are seeing right now is without a doubt my father, who bore the weight of all of Wano, the great shadow of the Kozuki. I have never felt this much weight on my shoulder. Do not back down now, Momonosuke. I want all of you to listen to me. And pretty much Momonosuke just starts explaining everything to everybody. I want you to know everything that happened on that day, what happened in Odin Castle, and why we are here before you now. Yes! And everyone is just ready to listen, just instantly. Even though the 9 scabbards were trying to explain everything, like, everything's fine. Luffy's okay. Luffy's okay. The moment they hear Momonosuke, they're all like, we'll listen to you. Yes, sir. Tell us what we need to know. I am relieved to see Lord Momonosuke standing so proud, but I am needed elsewhere right now. I will definitely reunite with everyone before the final battle. I see. All right. And then Kawamatsu goes to places unknown. Then we cut to Kuri, where Shuten Maru shows Kinemon exactly what was teased and what he wanted to show him back in a couple of chapters ago. This is 20 years, believing in an impossible tale as if reaching for the stars. What a difficult task it was. It all culminated 10 years ago. Having grown impatient, they headed to Onigashima and every last one of them paid for it with their lives. And we just see a massive graveyard with all the people who decided to go ahead of the 20 years and try and take on Onigashima themselves. None of them came back. And now it's just a graveyard full of gravestones of every single person who tried to go over there and died. It has been 10 years already. We are growing old. We will not have any strength left if we wait the whole 20 years. There is no guarantee that they will even return, and yet you still want us to wait? Believe in them. Kinemon and the others will definitely return, along with Lord Momonosuke. We have no food because we refuse to serve Orochi. We will die from sickness and disease before we even get the chance to fight. Is that Kaido's army? They destroyed the well. And they're just cutting back to events that happened 10 years ago, where Kaido's army is pretty much just ransacking the place, just leaving the place an utter wasteland now. They already had factories just everywhere already. They burned our crops. We are at our limit, Shutenmaru. Stop it. You will all die a dog's death. There's no way we can win unless we gather a large army under the name of the Kozuki. At the very least, let us die with swords in our hands. If we are going to die anyway, I would rather die as a samurai. Please, do not stop us. Do you remember back when we were kids? A test of courage, as we used to call it. It is because we, as humans, treasure ourselves that we become afraid. Throw away the name and throw away the wits. All we need to do is to empty our brains and charge in mindlessly. Raise your voices, everyone! Tsunachi! In which someone brought to my attention that this is the same word that Zoro teaches to Momonosuke when Momonosuke starts to, train with Zoro a little bit before they actually officially get to Wano. TN, this was previously translated as snatch before a meaning was given. Tsunachi is an abbreviation of throw away thy name and wits. And all the people what do you think about Zoro and Tsunachi? Do you think he has Wano roots? I feel like every single arc we've been in, someone has had ties to it in some shape or fashion. I feel like Zoro's swordsmanship is going to increase after Wano. We'll finally see what he can really do, especially when he gets to Shunsui, or is it Shunsui? Why am I thinking Shunsui, Kyoraku from Bleach? It's Shusui. When he gets his Shusui back. So I feel like there's some ties to Zoro in Wano. Like, everyone has their arc. Sanji was Whole Cake Island. Robin was Enies Lobby. Brooks was a little bit of Whole Cake Island as well, because he had his moment. Everyone's had their moment so far. Brooke, when he went up against Big Mom. Sanji, pretty much the entirety of Whole Cake Island. Jinbei, Whole Cake Island. I feel like everyone's had their moment, but Zoro hasn't had it yet. And since Zoro is just now showing up in this arc, I feel like he's going to have his moment where he gets to really, really shine. I know he's had a moment back in Dressrosa when he went up against Pika, but I feel like this arc will really help emphasize why Zoro is so strong as a swordsman and help capitalize on his dream of becoming the world's greatest swordsman and, help towards his goal of him taking down Mihawk. Now, at the end of the day, whether he kills Mihawk or just simply defeats Mihawk in battle, that remains to be seen. I don't know if Zoro still has it, because beforehand, when Zoro first met Mihawk, and even when he asked Mihawk to train him, he said, my dream is to kill you and become the greatest swordsman. I wonder if that's still the goal for him, or if he has a certain respect for Mihawk now. He just wants to simply defeat him and claim the title rather than kill him outright. So I feel like the time he may have spent with Mihawk may have mellowed that out a little bit. I don't know. I could be speaking too soon. He may still want to kill Mihawk, but I feel like with the way Zoro has become over the years, I feel like there's been a little bit of respect between him and Mihawk grown over the time where they trained. So I don't think Zoro may have that desire to outright kill Mihawk for the title, just to simply beat him for the title. But I feel like Zoro could have some Wano roots because we don't know where Zoro came from. We know where Nami came from, and she's from the village where the Arlen Arc was. We know where Robin came from. We know where Frankie came from. We don't know where Brooke came from. But we do know where Sanji, we do know where Luffy, and we do know where Chopper came from. But the only people who we have no origin story on is Brooke and Zoro. We have no idea where they came from. I wonder if the dojo he trained under with Kuina and them, if they all have Wano roots as well. I feel like they do. So hopefully it'd be cool if we get some references to them in Wano. Maybe they came from Wano and one of the few people that actually managed to leave Wano and establish like a dojo outside of Wano's walls, or maybe they just have very close Wano ties. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Actually, Nami was an orphan. Belmare adopted her, so maybe Nami has important parents. Maybe. Oh, right. That is right. She was adopted. We never find out her origin story as well. We don't know officially. That's another thing. We don't know who. We don't know where Luffy came from anywhere. We just know that he was in what is the village called? What is the village called? I forget his hometown. We do know he's been in his hometown for a while now, and that his grandpa dropped him off there. But we don't know Luffy's official origin story, like who his mom is. We don't know where Nami came. Oh yeah, so Brooke, Nami, Zoro, and Luffy. Kuina's dojo was in Shimotsuki village. Yasuya the Hedgehog is named Yasuya Shimotsuki. Oh, nice. So it could be so I guess there's more Wano ties right there. So we don't know Luffy's parentage other than his father. We don't know Nami's parentage, Brooke's history. You also don't know about the pirate parents that abandoned Frankie in Water 7. Oh, right. He did have pirate parents, didn't he? So we don't know the parentage of Frankie, Brooke, Luffy, or Nami. Or Zoro. In one of the 3 SBS, Oda did state that there was a small bunch of people from Wano that went to the East Blue. Oda said that they will come into importance later. So that just pulls in more ties for Zoro and his links to Wano, because I'm pretty sure that Kuina and her father and all the people that pretty much created the dojo that Zoro trained under, I'm pretty sure they're from Wano as well. So that just plays into more ties to Zoro. So I feel like this is going to be Zoro's arc where he gets to shine. We get to find out more about him. We get to see more of his skills and capabilities. Like the dude was able to send a shockwave out with a seppuku knife. So he's already, and he was able to kill a man with that. And he was able to kill multiple people after that with that same knife, just by imbuing it with a little hockey. So yeah, Zoro's strong, but we just don't know how big. It's in the volume 92 or 93 SBS, can't remember which. Still got to wait on that chapter, those volumes to come out, because we're still here in America. We still got 90, and I'm still waiting on 91 to come out as well. But I feel like Zoro's got some serious ties to Wano. I'm just waiting on the chapter where it gets to... I feel when Zoro gets Shusui back, we learn more of Wano and the history of Ryuma and how he and his sword became a national treasure. As soon as Zoro gets his sword back, I feel like we're going to have much more lore on the man who cut the head off of a dragon. But back to the story, Shuten looks teary-eyed as all the people who wanted to go early sail out to sea to Onigashima and never come back, and they all die. Why did it require 20 years? I am sure we will understand once this all ends. There is most definitely a reason. I can't doubt Lord Odin. Hey, everyone, gather up. In 8 days' time, on the night of the Fire Festival, we will march to Onigashima under the name of the Kozuki and exact our revenge. We will take the head of the pirate Kaido and Shogun Orochi. Come with us if you have the resolve. Of course, boss. We have been waiting a long time for this day. We will not let you Lord Yasuye's death go to waste. Ashura, you lot are still the same as back then, right, Kinemon? In the past, we were the same age, but we've had 20 years to become stronger. Right, Inu? That's right. Be quiet, you geezers. Just make sure you do not drag us down. What did you call me? Hey, stop that. How was anyone supposed to stop a fight between the Red Scabbards? And then we cut to a forest outside the flower capital where we see multiple ninja just cut down by Zoro because he's protecting Hiyori. And they're at a shrine. And he actually cuts down one of the members of the Oniwa Banshu. And he actually cuts through one of their swords completely, both through him and his sword. So yeah, Zoro's crazy strong with just one. Zoro's crazy strong with just 2 swords. He's a monster with 3. And he's ridiculously strong with just 1. And if he uses none, he's still crazy strong. But he cuts down one of the Oniwa Banshu, and they are at a shrine deep within the forest, the Enma Shrine. Enma is the god of the underworld in a Buddhist religion. And there's multiple, in this panel where it's showing the shrine that they're at, there's multiple ninjas just cut down right behind him. So he's pretty much taking them all down. The fact that Zoro is able to cut down ninjas so easily just shows you that being a ninja in One Piece doesn't really mean much to Zoro. Was that all of them? Seriously, how many ninjas can there possibly be? And then Hiyori's hiding. Shuten Maru and Inuarashi are near Jack's level. Do you think the same can be said for Kinemon? Huh. That's a very good question. They were both able to, because if I remember correctly, Shuten was fighting Jack in the town before Kaido showed up, and we finally got to see Kaido's dragon form. A lot of memories are coming back to me. And he was able to go up against Jack no problem. And Inuarashi and Nekomamushi were able to go up against Jack no problem, so much that Jack had to resort to using cheap tactics in one of Caesar's bombs in order to incapacitate those who fought in the day, the Minks who fought in the day, and the Minks who fought in the night. So, and I feel like this is because during the time period that Kinemon and the rest of them were sent 20 years in the future, during that time, Shuten Maru got strong to the point where he could oppose Jack. So my guess is Kinemon is probably the strongest of the 9 Red Scabbards. Well, seeing as how most of the Red Scabbards are answering to Kinemon, and whenever Kinemon is spoken about in reference in Dressrosa, he didn't seem to shine that much. Neither did Kanjuro. I feel like the reason why he didn't shine too much in Dressrosa was because he was trying to sneak and rescue his friend Kanjuro, along with helping out Luffy and the rest of them. So I feel like he could have helped, but at the same time, we probably wouldn't appreciate the moment he's going to eventually have here in Wano, because I feel like he is. I feel like we're going to see just what Kinemon can do. We've seen him fight just a little bit, but I feel like we're going to see what he can truly do here in Wano, in his hometown, in his home country, back where he wants to bring his world back to peace. But given how strongly everyone speaks of Kinemon in the most respectful of lights, I feel like there must be some element to his power as one of the 9 Red Scabbards, where everyone who addresses Kinemon are saying like, well, what's Kinemon doing? Oh, did Kinemon get all these people? Like, so many of the Red Scabbards put so much trust into Kinemon himself. Like, they're not saying like, what's Kawamatsu going to do? Like, he's a great ally, but we really need Kinemon to get this stuff together. Like, everything falls back to Kinemon whenever the 9 Scabbards are referenced. Like, Kinemon's the ones getting everyone together. Kinemon's the ones getting all the people recruited. Kinemon's going to all the strong people around in Wano who are who are thinking of deposing Kaido and trying to recruit them. Kinemon is not only the hype man, but as you say, I think he might be the strongest of the 9 Scabbards. I mean, why else would they treat him with such respect and put so much responsibility on him? They wouldn't put this on a weak person, like all this responsibility and relying on Kinemon to be the one to get all this together. Like, Kinemon's all like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and everyone just gets behind him. So I feel like there's a certain amount of power, not just behind his name, but his strength as one of the 9 Scabbard as well. Muffin. But Zoro protects Hiyori at the shrine. And Hiyori says, my apologies, I was in your way, right? Yeah, well, in any case, don't worry about it. I'd be too ashamed to see Momonosuke if I let you die. Anyway, are we going to return to that snowy house? As long as we can hide ourselves, it doesn't matter where it is. Now, I'm more worried about Otoko right now. I hope she is all right. She's with my friend, so she'll be fine. Well, physically, at least. More importantly, I need to go back to the place where that guy stole my sword. Of course, I will take you there. That was at Ringo's Oihagi Bridge, right? I need it before the final battle. And then we cut back to a panel where Kyumaru says, a man like you could never know the true value of Shisui. Yes, it was Shisui, not Shunsui. I don't know why I got bleach on the brain right now. I won't feel right if I don't have it by my waist. I can't forgive Orochi. I will definitely avenge Tonoyasu. I wish I could kill Orochi with my own hands. And those are the last words that he already speaks. The last words we get from her in this chapter, is she wished that she could kill Orochi with her own two hands. But then we cut to the Flower Capital for the last bit. What have you been up to? You're acting strange. No, it's nothing. Let's wrap this up quickly. So Diaz Drake and Basil Hawkins have met together, have reconvened with one another. And we actually see members of Hawkins' crew, like the ones that are all in hoods and look like a death metal groupie band. So they're with them. And this just confirms that the Straw Hats are gone because Sanji was fighting Drake beforehand, but Drake has now joined back up with Basil Hawkins. So where did Sanji go? Where did Nami, Robin, Brooke, and Frankie and Usopp go? Where are they? Because we don't see them anywhere in this chapter. Hopefully this week we find out where they went. But Basil Hawkins and Drake meet up. And Drake is all, it's nothing. Let's wrap this up quickly. Yes, this should be straightforward. You might as well make things easier and just spill the beans. This guy is connected to the Straw Hat crew. What exactly are your plans here in Wano? I'll get every last word out of your mouth. So they got Law. They got Law in prison. But he's like slightly bloodied on his face. So I don't know if him and Basil Hawkins actually fought one another, because it's kind of risky for Law due to Basil Hawkins linking his life with that of Shachi, Penguin, and Beppo. But I'm just thinking, like, if Law and Hawkins fought each other, how did it go? Other than, Law kind of, losing and being imprisoned and apparently going to be interrogated by Hawkins and the others. So I'm just wondering what events transpired to get Law completely under the mercy of Basil Hawkins right now. And this is the last chapter that we get. But the thing is, the chapter ends with Law just crossed-armed, just smiling at Hawkins like, you're going to try it, but you ain't going to get no word out of me. So it'd be interesting to see Law's resolve when we return to these chapters, when everything is released, when the next chapter is released. But this is the last chapter that we get for the month of July, and there's you know what? I forgot to name the last chapter. We've gone through Kawamatsu the Kappa. We've gone through Kawamatsu the Kappa takes the stage. Then the next one was simply called Mumby, should be called Zombie. And then the last chapter for this month is called The Soldier's Dream. So all in all, I feel I can go ahead and exit out of that tab now. All in all, I feel like all the chapters that we got this month, like Udon is completely taken over now. We don't know what happened to Daifugo or the rest of the prisoner guards, but more than likely they've been taken down because everyone else is just casually talking with one another, and Daifugo is nowhere to be seen. So more than likely they took him down along with the rest of the guards, because all the rest of the prisoners are just sitting around, just talking to one another, and with Momonosuke talking to him along with him and the rest of some of the 9 scabbers. Then we have Shutamaru prepared to join up with everybody else. They pretty much got everyone ready. In 8 days, they're going to do the Fire Festival. And one thing I've been noticing about time in anime and manga is that days can last literal months for us readers. Like, I'm watching through the dub of of Dragon Ball Super. Most of y'all might like the Japanese the subs, but I like hearing the dubs. But it has been several months since the Tournament of Power. And the Tournament of Power had a time limit of only, what, 40 minutes? They managed to stretch 40 minutes out several months. But then again, I can't be surprised because they stretched out the entirety of Dressrosa for 2 years. So time in anime and manga just doesn't link up too quickly. My thing is, one thing I like about reading chapters back to back, like especially when I buy new volumes, is reading an entire arc through in one go, and the time just passed by quickly. Because when you're waiting on these new chapters to come out, it feels like an eternity. And then when you go back and read through them again, you're all like, oh wow, all this stuff is happening quickly. But it's just I know it takes a while for stuff to be done, but still, time in anime and manga just seems like forever. They can make one day go on for like several months. It's crazy how that works, but it just reminded me that time in anime and manga does not move at the same speed as us. Because if it did, then everything, like, think about it. If you were to read through all the events that happens in Dressrosa, that's a lot of events that happen in just one singular day. Like when the Straw Hats, if you look at the anime and the Straw Hats arrival in Dressrosa, all the stuff that transpires happens in one day. I don't think there's even a night cycle. Actually, you know what? There is a nighttime episode, and that's after everything is done. But in the entirety of Dressrosa, I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please correct me. But I feel like during the entirety of Dressrosa, all the events that happened just happened in one day, but it took so long to do. So when it says that we have 8 days for the Fire Festival, I feel like we're going to have a minute before that Fire Festival actually happens. I feel like there's still Straw Hats to reconvene with. I feel like we got to get everybody that Shujin Maru's side convene with everyone that's over at the prison. We got to get them convened. Zoro's got to get his sword back. Luffy's got to get better and completely healed up. All the Straw Hats need to be accounted for. Hiyori needs to reunite with Momonosuke. The rereads can be a huge improvement. Week to week, I grew so frustrated with Usopp and Dressrosa, but reading the volumes, I just liked it. Yes, because you can read it one after the other without having to wait for what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? I have to wait till next week to find out what happens? Reading through an entire volume is a lot easier because you get to the meat of the matter quicker. So that's why I like having paperback volumes. Like, and when I move out and get a place of my own, I'm gonna have a whole section just dedicated to all my manga that I have. Manga. I still gotta get previous chapters of One Piece. I got volumes of One Piece, 1, 2, and I need to get the ones that are in between 2 and 61. So I got quite a few to go in order to, get all manga for One Piece and be completely caught up volume-wise. If that's the case, I might have to get myself a second bookshelf. But it's just like the span of time is going to take for the assault on Onigashima to happen. I feel like I still feel like we may have another month, maybe 2 months before we actually get into it. Not unless Oda starts to speed things up and we get like a day pass every 2 or 3 chapters. But it's, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm really hopeful for what we're going to be getting with One Piece. And like, I don't want to sound like I'm droning on too long because I just want to say what I got to say. And then I'll pretty much end it there. But my hopes for the chapters in August is that hopefully we find out what's going to happen to Law, what happened to his crewmates. With Zoro, hopefully we can get to him getting his sword back, or we get the Nine Scabbards meeting up with Shuchenmaru and his crew, or we find out where the rest of the Straw Hats are. And I still feel like the Oniwa Banshu are still a player in this because we haven't seen them at all. But even though some of them went after Zoro, I feel like the others are going after some of the other Straw Hats as well. So that might be the reason why we don't see them in the Flower Capital anymore. Because the rest of the Oniwa Banshu are trying to go after the rest of the Straw Hats because they want to get one of them to interrogate. I don't think that they grab Law because that's the same plan as the Oniwa Banshu. Because that was the Oniwa Banshu's plan. I still feel that the Oniwa Banshu themselves, they want a Straw Hat, not someone affiliated with a Straw Hat. I feel like Basil and Drake grab Law because he's another player in this, and they want to see if they can get information out of him, not just specifically what the Oniwa Banshu want to do and grab information from a Straw Hat themselves. So, that being said, I feel like some of the Straw Hats may be running away from the Oniwa Banshu because they were already there, present in the capital when Orochi, started causing trouble, being random with his ugly old square face. It'd be funny if him and Raizo are related because they both got big faces on small bodies. But I don't know. Hopefully, we get to see more of the Straw Hats in August. I got a lot of expectations. I'm really hoping that we get like a good chapter where it really solidifies some things for us. Maybe we'll see more Kaido. Maybe we'll see an interaction between Big Mom and Kaido when she eventually gets to Onigashima. Hopefully, it'd be actually nice if we actually get a little bit more backstory on the two of them when they used to be on the Rocks Pirates. Maybe we get to see a history of these two before they became Yonkos and before they, parted ways with one another, because they're not really on really good speaking terms. And I don't know if Kaido's going to be happy to see Big Mom at his doorstep when Queen brings him there. I really hope Queen doesn't bring Big Mom to Kaido's place when he's drunk, because good things don't happen when Kaido's drunk. I mean, he flew into, what was it, Kuri or Ebisu? He flew into one of the towns, I forget it, Leftover Town. I believe it's Leftover Town. Or whichever the place was where Hold'em was. He flew there, drunk as a dragon. And he was just demolishing things and just being a nuisance more than anything else. So, I don't know. Hopefully they don't bring Big Mom to Kaido when he's drunk. But those are just a couple of theories of mine. That's pretty much all I got for the reflections. We've gone through all the chapters for all the chapters here in July. This is the last day of July. You guys know how we do. So what do you guys think of all the chapters that we've gotten so far, as far as in this month of July? And what are you hoping for that we see when the actual chapters themselves become available for August this week and then going in for the rest of August? I want to hear your things because I want to finish my muffin. It's been an hour and 23 minutes. That failed. Where'd you go? I want to find it so it's not just sitting on my floor. See? Even close to my mouth, I have bad aim. It was a great month. We're definitely looking forward to Kid's Rampage. Oh, right. I forgot Kid as well. I wonder what he's going to do as well. It'd be interesting. I want to see what Kid's going to do after all these events have transpired. Has it changed? Like we've seen, it's changed his view of, pairing up with people and seeing friends. Like the last time he tried to create an alliance, Kaido fell right next to him. And then he got beaten by Kaido. And he got imprisoned because of it. And the people that he wanted to form an alliance with pretty much just left him and joined up with Kaido. the very person that beat him and imprisoned him inside of his inside of Onigashima for a short while. So at this point, I don't think Kid really wants to trust anybody except for Killer. So it'd be interesting. It really would be interesting to see just how Kid responds and how Kid goes through Wano, whether he's going to leave Wano or maybe he'll become a last minute player into trying to take down Kaido. But you know, with Kid's prideful nature, he might think, oh, I'm going to take down Kaido because I want to do it, not because I want to help you out, Straw Hat. So here's hoping that we see a little bit more of that in the chapters to come. But if no one else has anything, then I think I'm going to end it right here. I think this was a fantastic little stream of reflections over what the chapters of July has brought us in terms of One Piece. These muffins are extremely good. I'm going to eat more. I really hope you guys have been enjoying these videos that I've been making. Whether it's me just playing a game, or if it's me doing something One Piece related, which tend to get the most traffic more than most of the time. But I just want to say, as I'm very quickly approaching 900, you guys, it's amazing how quickly I've reached this point because of you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here and helping support this channel just with your viewership and your likes and whatever comments you guys like to leave for me. I am truly humbled to be someone that you guys like to watch. Once I reach that 1,000 mark, it's not going to slow down at that point. It's probably going to cause me to work even harder, because that's when the real work starts, is, you know, still drawing in more people and make this an environment where everyone is welcome, where everyone can chill and relax, and they can just, you know, come here whenever they're bored or come here whenever they want to have a little fun, because I'm always going to be doing something. And when I pursue this full time, then I know I can fully dedicate all of my time to this when I turn this into my full time. So you guys, it is amazing that this channel has come as far as it has. I can't thank you guys enough. It's not because I'm good. It's not because I'm good at what I do. It's because I'm good enough that you guys like it. So it truly is an honor for me to do this. And know that I'm still going to keep that same level of integrity that I've run with this channel. No clickbait, no trying to fool you into watching my video with misleading titles or anything or whatever, because that's not how I roll. That's not how I've been raised. And I would rather be a YouTuber that doesn't engage in that and slowly builds his channel than one who engages in it and gets like 500 per video made that way. Like, I can't honestly get that. Like, why make clickbait to get people to watch your stuff and get subscriptions based off of falsehoods? I'd rather be one that's a slow burn that gets better as time goes on than try and get my numbers up really, really high from the get-go and not be accustomed to it. Because I rather know what it's like to start from the bottom and then slowly work my way up to the top than just be at the top and then I don't know how to proceed through there. But I digress. I'm sorry. I'm droning on. I'm rambling. Once again, I apologize. But you guys, it really is amazing for me to do this. I love this. This is my passion. This is my talent doing this. I could do this for literal hours if I had the time. But you guys, it's amazing to do this. I care about you all deeply. I really do. Not just because you watch my stuff, but because I want to help make this world a better place through happiness. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. So have a fantastic day. And once again, it's always later, peoples. Time to eat the rest of this muffin. Muffin time.